Good morning. It's time for Cosmic Compass. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to see so many of you here today, and I know that there are many of you watching later, so thank you so much for that. So, as always, we're going to start with breathing, just a way to reconnect, connect, remember where we are, and do a little re-regulation first thing in the morning. So, if you want to join me, I'm going to close my eyes. I'm just going to bring my awareness down through my body. Feel those roots go into the earth. So I feel my body, I feel the earth. And I'm just going to breathe from that place, breathing up through the soles of the feet and expanding the belly and inviting you to join me. And on the exhale, just relaxing shoulders and jaw, breathing in up through the soles of the feet, expanding the belly. And exhaling. Feeling that energy of the earth rising up through the soles of the feet on the inhale, expanding the belly. And exhaling when you're ready. And just feel yourself melting a bit, relaxing, even though for us it's first thing in the morning. Just relaxing. And one more breath in, really feeling the energy of the circle, breathing in up through the soles of the feet, expanding the belly, and exhaling. And just really feeling yourself here and ready to engage in the day. For some people in the United States, it is a holiday, so some people may have the day off, which is great. For others, it is your evening. Thank you for joining. For others, it is just a regular day and you're in the middle of your day. So thank you for that. All right. I'm going to pull cards and I'm going to first pull them out of my beautiful bag. Do you see this
Well,
bag?
yes.
So I had to show this off. It's just a really cute little backpack. You can get one too. I can take you to the store where they come from. All right, so I'm going to actually now get to work here. There are a couple of decks that wanted to come out and play. This first one is one I don't use very often, but it said it wanted to play, and I think it's the Wales connection myself. So it is called Art Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle.
Oof.
Okay, so already I'm feeling that connection to what Kathy and I are going to be discussing. So I'm going to pull just one card from this particular deck. And I'm just, again, usually we're pulling this card just for the week, but I'm feeling like this card is a guiding card, not just for the week, but for our conversation. All right. Wow. Okay. I don't know what these cards mean, so
Oh, hang on. Go back a bit.
yeah, I know I've got to get it into focus.
That's the one.
Would
Arthur. Well, you know, King Arthur is the thing of Wales.
you like to say more about that in this moment?
I know very little, but I mean, there are many rumours and legends regarding King Arthur and his connection to Wales, Cornwall as well. But it's very interesting. We have Arthur on a horse. So, yeah, I like that.
Exactly. Well, and a little known thing that I'll share with this group is that, of course, with everyone because it goes on YouTube, but little known fact. Last year, and Kathy, you're already in on this conversation. Last year, David and I went to Glastonbury before we met with you in Birmingham. And We went to the Goddess House, which I highly recommend, in Glastonbury, and I went to meet with a friend of Kat McDonald, who did a beautiful anointing ceremony for me, welcoming me into the British Isles and my work and all the things. And the entire Goddess House is, big surprise, goddess rooms named after all the goddesses of the British Isles, right? Except for one room. And that was the room where she had said that she was told to take me to that room to do this 90-minute session. Guess what room it was?
Arthur, good
It
of
was the
you.
King Arthur room, yeah. So there's something here, and again, for those who know the legends and understand, the deeper meaning here, Arthur had hoped to be a king who could bridge and stop the spread of patriarchy and still preserve the goddess energy, still preserve the matriarchal power of the goddess. And anyway, more to be said about that, but it is a powerful way to look at life through the King Arthur energy, as a bridge of feminine, masculine, god and goddess, flow and structure, energy of all kinds. So anyway, I will just actually maybe look this up. Let me just see if this is an easy, maybe not. I don't know. If it's easy, I'll look it up. If it's not, I don't really know how this book works. Give me one moment, people. I know. Oh, look, I opened right to it. Okay.
Say no
Um,
more.
there you go. So the meaning, I'm just going to I normally don't do this because, I want us to deepen into our intuition, which is good. I'm doing that as I'm remembering my experience in Glastonbury. But I will share this. Expanded meaning. Meditate on a historical or mythological figure that has personal significance to you. Okay, so Kathy, let's add that into our retreat plan. She's writing it down. Okay. We'll be and we were actually going to work with ancestral energy anyway, but
Anyway, yeah, yeah.
I do like this idea of a historical and mythological figure. Um, there is an ancient goddess tree in this picture in the background, she says. So I do want to kind of call our attention to that.
Oh, yeah.
And I will use this as a stepping stone into our conversation about whales because there's something I want to say about that. But I'm going to pull 3 more cards. So, but the conversation has already begun, apparently, right? So excited. All right. So these 3 cards will be very much focused on energies for this week, how we're navigating, what we can look toward. And our first card, I love it. We get this card quite often. But again, this time, no real conversation for me. I'm just going to just suggest that you take a moment, feel the energy of this card. Notice how you feel in your body when you feel it, see it. Again, you don't need to know the meaning of the card to receive what your intuition wants to share with you. I can hear, maybe it's just my brain. Just sit and meditate a little more every day. There. Okay. So not a bad idea. Next card. I think we had this one. Yeah, we had this one last week. I swear I mixed them up. So far, these are pretty fun cards. So again, how do you feel? What do you see? What do you notice? Just letting yourself dive in to that energy. Okay. And then our last card, and then I'll hold them all up, is, oh, all right. This one, I really like this. First of all, like, kind of that watery look. Eight of Cups. I think this one is pretty straightforward, but again, just let yourself be, put yourself in the narrative of the card. What do I feel? What do I notice? This is a good one for me too. And again, don't worry about the meaning of it. Just put yourself in the narrative that you feel or see or sense or hear. Okay, so we have these three cards for today. These are meant to be just how we can navigate the week cards, but these could actually be really great cards for life. I like them. And then, of course, our first card, King Arthur. All right, so let me bring in Kathy and we'll just get started. Thank you, Kathy, for letting me do that. And thank you, David, for letting people in. Ah, so fun, Kathy. Thank you so much for joining. So I thought I would start, and I think everyone here knows you, but in case someone watches who doesn't know you, there's so many things I could share about you. But how do you introduce yourself? I'm not really good at introducing myself, so I'm always curious. How do other people do that?
Oh my
This is
God.
Kathy Price. She enjoys, what do they do on those game shows? She enjoys a few good things on. How do you describe yourself? I mean, it's a great question.
Oh
And
God,
it
I
doesn't
should
have to be
know by
work
now,
related.
shouldn't I? I should know. I'll try and do a very abridged version, okay? So I come from a scientific background. I'm an arch skeptic, but my work is pure energy. Energy and connection are what excite me completely. And I think my aim, this has become more and more distilled down, is helping you heal yourself. But that healing is not just on a what you might call a physical level. It's about at every level, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. But it's also about helping people find their path, their place, their passion, because I feel that's a really big part of healing, of being in the best possible place. Not everyone can get there, and it doesn't mean you're ill because you can't find that, you haven't yet found it. That striving is all part of the path. But my joy is to be with people and we can explore. So I love exploring with people, where they're
Mm.
going, what, you know,
I love
what's on.
that. And I can totally feel, I'm sure we can all feel your passion and your joy. And one of the themes that we've been working with so far in 2025 is how we elevate our joy or how we elevate our gratitude, how we elevate our energy to move through what has been a very challenging year
Mhm.
for
Already. Yes.
everyone in different ways. So, I mean,
Mhm.
everyone's having, oh, look at that glass with the dragon on it.
Oh, yes.
See?
Keeping the Welsh going here, boys. Somebody on Biff here, boys.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, see? Yeah, and then we could just have Kathy speak Welsh and then we could just be like in awe.
Very little Welsh.
Yeah,
Most of it
doesn't
drops
matter.
out of
All you just,
conversation.
yeah, just 2 words, 2 or 3 words, and I'm good. I'm good. So Kathy, your passion, your joy, I really feel it when you talk about it. I think all of us can feel that. And I'm curious what led you, I'm really curious, what led you there? Like, what is it about helping others find their way to the full healing that includes, finding their own passion, their own joy?
Oh God, that's a question.
I know.
I mean, the horses first took me there. My first horse took me there. I
Mhm.
went to a horseman's clinic, and I went, it was going to think, pull the rein, do this. And I was introduced to energy, and it
Mhm.
had not been a concept.
Yeah.
And I literally went in a scientist where it was measure it, explain it and replicate it, and I'll believe it. Otherwise, I don't want to speak to you. And I came out the other end. I didn't know who the hell I was. I literally did not know what was going on. So that was in 2003. So all of these years has been a gradual gathering of information and experience. And my first step was I opened a book on Reiki, which I had no idea what Reiki was, and it said about what happens when you get attunement, and it was described what happens in the horse clinic to me. So my first step into the work of energy was purely self, I was looking after myself, like I want more of that.
Yeah.
But from that moment, it was, oh my goodness, can I help in this way? And I was looking for a more and more easy, inverted commas, less complicated way to be able to help people energetically. So that has been my path. My continual thing
Mhm.
is, how can I make it that more easy, more direct, more just do, just do.
Mhm.
And then it's been along the way how, when I've interacted with people and heard stories, and I'm sure Denise, you're I know you're exactly the same because we work together, but you're in a conversation and the words come and I don't know where they come from,
Right.
but they come and they're there to help that other person. And I mean, I think they help me as well. I learn with every person I work with, or
Mhm.
horse or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's been a gradual transition from what I thought was, oh, I'm just going to help make people better,
Mhm.
to this big encompassing, we are energy.
Mhm.
Where do we go with this? How do we find our place? How do we find our most beautiful position in this world?
Mhm. It's such and one of the times that you've been on Cosmic Compass and some of the other places where we've been able to speak together, when I look at your astrology chart, I can see where that's coming from. And I feel so much your heart engaged there and that desire for healing and I forgot to warn you that we do talk a little bit about your chart, if that's okay.
Oh, that's so good. Shh.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's something I
Carry
want
on.
to add more and more into what we're doing here. But, many of us know that Kathy was one of the first people that came on Cosmic Compass in 2020 when we first started.
Mm.
We made a policy at that time that you're an Aries, Aries can swear on Cosmic. They're the only ones. They're the only ones who get to swear. That's not true. David loves that too because he's an Aries. And
Okay.
yeah, but that coming from the heart, like that's what I really feel when you speak. I can feel that energy of love. And one of the things about your chart, Kathy, and this is something that I really enjoy bringing in for others too, is where your midheaven is. And our midheaven is what it looks at our contribution, our greater
Hmm.
contribution. And it can also be called the career house, but I think more directly, it's our contribution. And yours is in Leo. And so that leonine heart, and starting with the animals, right? It's
Yeah.
really flowing. There's a generosity of heart that comes through. My North Node is in Cancer. And so you'll feel if I'm having a good day, you'll feel my yeah, you'll feel my nurturing energy. You'll feel want to
So,
create a safe space, right? A very Cancerian,
yeah.
fierce mother energy. I want to make sure everyone's feeling safe and comfortable. And do you have enough food? Are you nourished? How can I help you drop into your own safe zone? And how
Mm.
can that be supportive of everything you just talked about? Like, so this is one of the reasons you and I love working together because ultimately our intention is very similar. It's
Yeah.
just we're coming at it from very complementary ways.
Yeah.
Um, and in astrology, the side by side signs. So Aries, that would be Kathy. I'm pointing to her. You can't tell that, but I'm pointing to her. And Taurus, Aries and Taurus are
Next
side by
door. Yeah.
side. Our midheavens are side by side. Cancer and Leo side by side.
Mhm.
The side by side energies they carry a lot of energy with them because they work with each other. They teach each other.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a beautiful energy of different perspective. So anyway, I went off into my astrology realm. Um, so Kathy,
Oh, cool.
bringing us back to your heart and to your love. Can you tell us how you ended up in Wales, please? Because I want to bring us back to Wales.
Okay, so I grew up in Wembley in London. I was born in the suburb of London called Wembley. And I had a Welsh grandmother who lived with us at the time.
Interesting.
And then when I was about 7, she moved down to a place called Pembroke, which is further
Mhm.
south. And Pembroke was called Little England Beyond Wales because originally very few people spoke Welsh down there. But from that moment, I always said, I'm going to end up in Wales. So from a child, I said I was going to end up, and I had no idea how, no idea how. And I tried to get into veterinary school, which was not in Wales, failed. And so I just rang Aberystwyth University up. And the only time I'd been to Aberystwyth was when Australian relatives had come over. They were staying in Pembroke. I went with them. We happened to go through Aberystwyth. That's the only reason I knew Aberystwyth, and no relatives or anything. And I literally phoned the university up and said, look, this is what's happened. And they gave me a place over the phone. And so it was obviously I was
What?
meant to be here. Yeah, literally. Because
Wow.
there's usually this big, you've got to go through what they call clearing and occur and God knows what. And they put, try and find everyone a place. And me being me, I just found the university and I went, yes. So I did zoology here and I came here in 1979 and I've never gone home. Literally. Literally.
Literally. Oh,
Literally, my
yes, because
parents moved down.
your
Hmm.
parents moved there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. So I don't know how David feels about Wales, but I know he loves it from our trip last year. But this is one of the things I wanted to bring into our conversation. And David, you can jump in anytime if you can. I know he's he's doing work at the
Multitasking.
same time. He's trying to be in two places at once, of course, as it is some days. Um, so Wales, it was interesting. The British Isles in general, I have family ancestors from all the different places, mostly Ireland, but England. I haven't seen any Welsh. Oh, David has a little
He's put
comment.
up my hand. Beautifully spelt, sir. Beautifully spelt. Right.
Yes, but can anyone say it? This is the question.
Yeah, without being rude as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Uh-oh. Don't try, honey. Don't. I can see him. He's getting ready. I can see him getting ready to do something or something very Aries like.
He's rounding
Um,
his vowels as we speak.
so anyway, Wales was very intriguing to me. And then Kathy, when I met you, I want to say it was around 2018, maybe 20
It was 2019,
in
March
person.
2019.
Oh, that was it,
That
2019.
was there because that's when you did that first reading.
Yeah. Okay.
The backseat, Kathy.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we'll
in
talk.
joke.
That's an inside
Yeah,
joke and we'll get there.
yeah.
So in 2019, I met Kathy, and one of the first things and again, I'm meeting her over Zoom at that point. I did meet you in May, I think, or
Mhm.
yeah, May later on
June, May, yeah, May it
in
was, yeah.
person. But I knew from the minute I met you, Kathy, that I needed to come to your land. That's all I knew. It's kind of like you said, like I know I'm moving to Wales, and all I knew was I need to get to her land. There's something about that land. That land, I need to and I remember saying to you, I just need to spend the night.
Mm.
I don't want to sleep outside though, but I just need to, I'm not that adventurous. I'm not Kansas Carradine, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not. Maybe there's a small part of me that wishes I was, but I prefer a little more shelter and luxury. And yay, Kansas, thank you so much for being you. Oh, and Helen Spencer. Hello.
Oh,
What?
oh my God.
If
And
you're,
what a cover photo. Flag on the South Pole. Oh, I'll just use that as my cover photo.
I mean, these women, for those of you who don't know, look them up. They are extraordinary humans. I don't know I'm so
Yeah, I
grateful.
know. I don't know either. I just sit there going,
Anyway,
"Oh,
but back to the land. I promise you, we will be having quite a lot of good times on that land. Yes, and we will be
that's what I
outside.
think."
Yeah, when we talk about the retreat, I'll share a little bit more. But anyway, just being on that land, I knew I just needed to be there. And I didn't understand why. It doesn't matter. I'm used to that in my life. If something tells me I need to be somewhere, I'll go. And I love what happened to you with the university. Just, I mean, just saying, sure, come on over.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think just having an opportunity to visit you in person last year and be on the land really stoked that inner fire for me about wanting to do a retreat with you there in Wales. And Kathy, can you describe the place where, unless the weather is terrible, where we're going to
Yeah.
be? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, I want to say that the valley that I live in is called the Melindor Valley, and it's beautiful. People, there's no really through road, so it's not busy. People get lost there frequently. But in 2008, I had a knock on the door, and it was a oh God, archaeologist called Dr. Toby Driver. I've since found out. And he knocked on the door and he said, "Oh, I've just come to ask. Somebody told me you own that field down there. And there's a field um, just by the river, just before you get to the river, between I've got a mum and dad's bungalow in here when you walk down the road and it's there." And I went, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, I wonder, could I go in it because we found it was a drought year?" And he said, "We found a crop mark." And I was like, I coat was on and I was going, "You can only go in if I can come with you." And so and basically what he found was a 40-meter double circle that's 4,500 years old. So it's older than Stonehenge. And it was probably a burial tumuli. And they think there might have been three. There's one in the next door field they don't think it's ever been disturbed. And they think there was one further up. So I'm in all the official photos holding the stick. And yeah, I know. He came back in 2018 because we had an even harder drought,
Right.
and they found medieval burials there as well. So
Wow.
for me, it's the fact that valley was of significance that the ancients took their time to build something there.
Right.
It was, I stand there and go, what was it about this? What was it that
I
you
know.
made that effort here,
Right.
right here? And I can stand in the middle of that circle and
Right.
go, okay,
I
this
know I
is
have
where
chills everywhere.
it's just, it blows my, even forgotten the question about that. How did what, who,
Oh, I
what
was
was the
just
question?
gonna, I just want to talk about where we're gonna
Sorry.
be, and
Oh,
so
yes.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah, where
we're
we're
in
gonna
this
be.
So we're in this valley. So the valley itself is really special. There's also an Iron Age fort up above my house, and we will be in directly below the Iron Age fort. And it's a place that was an old lead mine. It's been reclaimed many years now. And the people that have got it, Joe and Ben, have done a lovely job of very sympathetically making it into an area where you can hold gatherings. So they have like a tarpaulin, a parachute tarpaulin, a lovely big log, you can fill a fire pit so you can light the fire. There's seats around there, compost loo, but it's secluded and yet it's not far away. So you can easily get to somewhere you can park your cars, but then you just walk into this area and then we're alone. We're we've got this and we're connected to everything. There's a waterfall nearby if it's rained, which in Wales it probably has. Um, so it's I've held two or three things there now, and everyone has been really special. Again, we're weather dependent, but it's in the lap of the gods, I don't know. But even if it's raining slightly, you can get warm and cozy there. It's beautiful. But what I love is the connection, the ancient connection, the land connection. You're really connected to everything just in that little area.
Right. Yeah. And what I can say is that I don't think I went up as far as where that was when I was visiting, when we were visiting.
No, no. Well, I think the problem was they were redoing the top, and
Right.
Ben, being a
Yes.
male, was getting a little bit uptight, and Joe said, "Better not go now. Better not go."
Oh, better not go now. Right.
Yeah,
Not a good time. I do
yeah,
remember
not a
that
good
now.
time.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. So yeah.
So, and so for those of you that are just joining in, we're discussing where we're going to be holding this retreat in April. Um, and there's a lot I want to talk about in terms of detail, but really I just want to stay right here with this land and with this energy. Um, when David and I were there last year, and David will be coming this year as well. We both really felt, and David can, I know he's trying to do two things at once, and he was going to originally be part of this conversation, but I know he's trying to do a million things. We both felt the energy of that land very strongly. And there is, it's interesting, after we left you, Kathy, we went on to other places on our journey, and we ended up at Sutton Hoo over on the other side. Uh,
Yeah. I know the name, but I couldn't tell you where it is.
well, I don't know the town either. I just know we were staying in Wivenhoe and we drove to Sutton Hoo, so it was within driving distance. And being there, and for those of you that don't know what Sutton Hoo is, I didn't until I saw the movie The Dig, which
Oh, yes.
tells the
Yes.
story about the woman who saw through some various means that there was something on her land. And it turns out it's a Viking burial ship. And anyway, so from your place, we went there. I didn't even know we were going there. That was a surprise that our friends surprised me with.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just reminded me that no matter where our ancestors come from, and this is a part that I'm definitely bringing into our time at the retreat in April. Honoring our ancestors is a really important part of I would say all cultures. Some do more than others, but I do think that looking at your land, and even though those may not be your ancestors, you're still honoring the fact that
Mm.
these people are there. And it does seem like it's a
Yeah,
burial.
I think
Yeah.
the double circle was definitely a barrel.
Yeah. And I think so. Again, why did they choose that land? Well, when we were there with you standing in that field, remember the birds flying by, and it just it has, of course they chose that land. There's something very special in that valley. And it is a valley. And there's protection around it. You think about
Yeah.
all the mountains around it. So the fact that we get to immerse ourselves on that land in some healing energy and learning together and connecting to ourselves and our own energy really excites me. That's why
Mm.
we're doing this.
I know.
I know. I'm so
Calm down.
excited.
Okay.
No, so more detail.
Denise,
Yes,
may I just share a reflection about that?
absolutely. Can I bring you on Spotlight?
Of course.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I'm a bit diverted here, but yes, the land is amazing. I from my own traditions of practice come from a more East Asian energetic kind of awareness of landscape and the feng shui of a place, right? Feng shui literally means wind and water, and there's plenty of those in
Yes,
Wales.
wind water, yeah.
But the
Yeah.
land itself is absolutely, vibratory, right? We use that vernacular slang, right? The vibe, but it literally, there's an audible, palpatory vibe in that space. You can understand why people settle in certain regions because of the qualities, the vibration, the energy of the landscape. So that alone has its own very potent presence and is very supportive of the amazing work that Kathy does, and of course, what you two will be sharing there. So it's just totally fucking delicious to be there.
He's an Aries.
Aries, Aries.
Anyway, my two
Ah.
cents.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh gosh, that's
I
great.
love that. And I just want to say there's something that happened to me where David was saying that about why people settle there and my connection. Twice I've been walking up the lane towards the farmhouse and I've literally become rooted to the spot and it's been, oh, you're meant to be here. I mean, that's the only message, and it's happened twice, and both times in the same spot, both times completely out of the blue, that I'm not been meditating or doing anything, just walking along. It's just like, oh, goes straight through you and it goes, you're meant to be here. And so, yeah. that was slight verification.
Oh, now no one has a hard time understanding why I really wanted to do this. And Kathy was so gracious to say, yes, let's do it.
Oh, it was
And
hard. It was a hard decision, very
so
hard.
exciting.
Took me about a millisecond.
So what we're doing, so I wanted to just bring, really start to talk about this a little bit. The retreat is small. We can have up to 12 people. So that, and we do have, let's say we roughly have 5 spots left in that retreat. Um, and there's a waiting list because, things happen. So, if, there's some fluidity there, but the retreat itself is a continuation, a deepening of what we're going to do on Friday before the retreat. And if I'm not mistaken, Friday is the 25th of April and Thursday is the 24th of April. I think I've got that right. And we're going backwards because I have
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde natally. So I never think in terms of going
You're
chronologically.
absolutely spot on, my
I'm
darling.
going
Yes.
backwards. So Friday the 25th, and this is important because not everyone can come to a 2-day retreat. Kathy and I decided we wanted to create a day-long workshop that brings us into this wisdom of healing and wellness. And so we call it the wisdom of wellness in Wales because, it's alliterative.
Why not?
Yeah. But the wisdom of wellness and healing on Friday is a full day, and we're having it at the university in Aberystwyth, which I can say Aberystwyth. See, I'm so good.
Yes, it's
That's the only thing I
beautiful.
can say. But we're going to have it there at the university, which I think really, Kathy, I have to say, I'm really excited about that because I feel like it honors your roots there in a way, like
Thank
that's
you.
how you got
Yeah,
there,
absolutely. Yeah.
how you got there. And so that day-long workshop is open to 50 people. So if you, I mean, I really realize that it's not like everyone lives near Aberystwyth and you can just drive over. So there is also a Thursday night gathering, a sort of meet and greet and spend time together on the Thursday night, which is the 24th. And
That's in Aberystwyth Rugby Club.
oh, it is at the rugby club, right? I
That's
don't
the
even know
rugby
what a
club.
rugby club is.
Oh, you'll find out. If there's been a match, God help you. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Well, this could be very exciting. So, there's a whole cultural experience awaits for anyone who
Waiting.
comes. Okay. So, the meet and greet is just a way for us to just say hello and orient and connect. And then the workshop on Friday, Kathy, one of the things that you and I are going to really talk about, and I love that you're bringing this in, is self-healing and how we connect. So the workshop itself is a standalone. It will be very vibrant in and of itself. It won't be on the land, but we'll bring the land energy with us, bring it with us. Do you want to say anything about that one day and what your intention is as you bring yourself to that day?
Yeah, thank you, Dal. It is okay. So from my perspective, the only healer is the system itself. Okay. By that I mean that people may call themselves healers, and I'm not dissing anything about that. But for me, everything, whether it's a pill that you take, you go to a doctor, have a pill, have an operation, you come to me, Denise, whoever, we facilitate you healing yourself.
Yeah.
Because from my perspective, there is nothing and nobody on this earth that can make you better, i.e., they treat everybody and everybody gets better, whatever better might be, what your view of better is. Because if that was true, that's all we'd need. If there was one pill that would cure headaches, we'd only need the one pill or one type of energy work. That's all we need. So for me, we're all different. We all come from different places. We're unique. And that's why we have this wide variety of things that we can help ourselves to heal. We are the healer. It's our system that changes at every level. And where we go, what we decide to use to help heal us, that's the facilitator. That's helping us do the work. So I want to sort of expand on that and look at how powerful we are as healers.
Yeah.
We have a lot to there is a lot of techniques and awareness that when you go into can really help you heal, and very simple stuff, some of it, that it's not complicated, or it's not, you don't have to study for sit on a rock up in a mountain for 3 years eating grains,
Although that's
poultry.
sounding kind of
Well,
good right at the moment.
yes, well, we won't go there yet. So that's one of my sort of main focuses, is that I'd really love to dig into that,
Mhm.
and to give people tools. So when they go away, they've got something that they can use. They've got an awareness, and they maybe have technique, and know where to go to look. And I just want to say here as well, right from the very outset, I totally support modern medicine, okay? I'm
Oh,
not a Luddite, and I'm not somebody who goes, oh my God, no, no, no. I always say we learn everything for a reason, but it's
mhm.
what we do with it that matters.
Yeah,
So that for me is the discernment of how we use the medicine is the important part. But there'd be millions of people that would be dead, dying, or suffering if it was not for modern medicine. So
right.
I just want to
Yeah.
make that clear.
I think that's wonderful. And I think, again, one of the things that I'm quite enjoying is the blending of really profound insight and knowledge and experience that you've had over these many, many years now. Yeah, well, okay, we won't go into how many, but many
Too
years,
many, not too many.
lifetimes, many
You.
lifetimes, right?
Yes,
And
very lifetimes.
bringing that into a place where you really want this to be accessible and to really help others feel that. And I think you mentioned, if you didn't mention it, this is what I heard, just this empowerment of
Mm,
each of us and our own journey. And I know David shares this view as well. I think, and he's, if he wants to jump in and talk about a little bit from his perspective, he can, but I just really appreciate um, all of us and our perspectives coming from this place of knowing we have what we need within and how do we access it. And
yeah.
again, we're, in my opinion, astrologically, we have little clues, shall we call them, in our charts that give us ideas about where our our healing gifts lie. And again, these can be healing gifts for ourselves, but they can also be extended out into the world in some form. And many of you have heard me say this. Ultimately, I mean, this is my Cancer North Node in the ninth house and my midheaven in Cancer. Okay. That ultimately the greatest healing force is love. And
Mm.
how do we access that in ourselves? And what is love? And how is that energetically felt and seen and experienced? And I think, and I can really only speak for myself, but I do come from this place of knowing that when I am not in flow, when I don't feel connected to my greatest wellness, and again, this is an interesting thing too, and I'm sure we'll have lots of little questions that come and want to be answered from now until the day we show up there at the university for our workshop. Um, what is wellness? So again,
Exactly.
we can,
That's,
we'll come back to that in a minute. But that
yeah.
idea for me is, am I in my flow, and am I in my heart? Am I in my womb space? Because that's part of my work, is the womb space work, or the lower dantian work. And how am I showing up as love? How am I showing up? And I don't always. So let's just be clear. This is not something I have mastered in any way, shape, or form. And at the same time, I'm I'm seeking to bring that gift of being my full self into the world. And you do this too in your work. It's like finding out who you are, that
Mm.
deeper level of who you are, what you're passionate about, what you love, how you love. um that is that's where I feel my best. So if we're going to talk about wellness being feeling our best, what does that mean? It's like all these questions. What does it mean
Yeah.
feel our best? Then for me, that's coming from that place. And the clues are in the chart. Obviously, you don't need a chart to figure this out for
Mm.
yourself. It takes, that deep understanding and listening to yourself. I think the chart is super helpful though. And I think it offers an opportunity to springboard into who we are and what we have to offer for ourselves first, and then moving that energy out into the world. And I'll just say one more thing and then I'll turn it back over to you, Kathy. one of the things that I have an intention for that Friday in particular is that as we gather, as we deepen, as we learn, as we connect, that by the end of the day, we have created this incredible sphere, let's call it, of healing energy, wellness energy, wisdom energy, love energy around us. And from that place, we can send it out into the world. And to me, that's a really important part of gathering. And doing it in person to me feels like a huge luxury. But it also feels necessary. There is, um, there was a time a long, long ago where we used to gather in person all the time. And then the hard times came and we had to stop gathering in person for a while. And now we are bridging all the gaps. We're gathering like this with people all over the world joining us. And then gathering in person feels very important. But even for those of you that cannot join us in person, I hope if we tell you what time to tune in, you'll tune in to feel that energy moving out into the world and join us by being your own, energy source and sending energy out yourself. So that's one of my intentions. And yes, I'll be bringing in the astrology. It won't be uh, maybe not as direct as your personal chart, but I will be talking about things. I'll check everyone's chart before we actually have the one day, so that I have a sense of how many people have Chiron here and how many people have Chiron here. So I'll be checking that out just so I have a general idea of where we are and who's there and how we're gathering and the gifts that we're each bringing. So I'll be speaking on that and I'll be leading some guided visualizations and yeah, we don't want to give away all of it, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Kathy, what else do you want to say about that Friday? Anything else you want to?
Oh God, what else do I need to say? I think there we have it. And one of the things that I really would love people to be able to go away with is the factors affecting health, in the sense that, we can look at the energetic, we can look at. I totally agree with you. For me, love is the answer to everything, because if love was the ruler, everything would be fine. Everyone would be looked after. There'd be no wars, whatever. So I really hear you, and I know me and hugs, because when I
I
hug,
was just about to say that. Yeah.
that's what do you know, somebody was asking about it the other day, or was just mentioned hugs. And when I think, oh, the joy that I get when I hug somebody, to be able to hug somebody. And it's about, for me, it's about that love. It's about the energy. It's about, here I am, take my energy, use my energy. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And so often I hug someone and I feel them go, oh, and I
Oh
go,
yeah. I'm one of
job
those
done,
people.
job done. It's and it's such I'm so blessed to be able to do it, in that respect, like you said, the gathering of the people. So I want to be looking at the things that we can look at every day that affect, and we know about nutrition, we know about quality of water, we know sleep, we know, meditation, whatever. But then there's also things that light, um, and how that affects us, and how we're part of this world. Because I think a lot of um, the movement away from health, that's the only way I can put it, is that we've become disconnected from who we are, in the sense that we are part of this world. And we are an animal. We are affected by all of the things. And this is where, as a scientist, if I'd been presented with astrology, 40 years ago, there would have been two words and the second one would have been off, and you know what the first one would have been, because I'm an Aries. But now I can so see it, that when you are, that second, that time you are born, where are all those planets with their gravitational forces, with their energetic forces? Where are they? What are they
Yeah.
doing on that little being coming into the world at that moment? And it makes perfect sense to me now. Absolutely perfect sense.
Huh,
So I'm
perfect.
just, but it's, so for me, I want to try and broaden out as well, all of the different things that might affect the body and how we can integrate within ourselves. I mean, you were speaking about it, and your meditation was, about bringing yourself back into us, because I think we live in such a stressful world. If we allow it to be stressful, and let's face it, it's very hard not to be at times, we're scattered,
Yeah.
we're gone, our energy is pulled out of us, and we need to find a way of reintegrating it back in and being grounded, but also being open to information. So we're not shut down, closed, grounded. We are grounded in, but we are open as well, that we are in a balanced position.
Yes. And Kathy, you bring up such an important point, because one thing I've noticed in this era that we're in, it's really easy for me to get pulled out. And so being able to spend a day and a half, 3 days, however many days each person is coming to spend with us, to come back in and to just keep doing that practice throughout the day or days. And I secretly hope we can ask David to do some of the things that he brings into the world during that weekend, and during that first day, if he's open to it, that are very grounded. I feel very lucky. I get to live with someone who has wonderful hugs and knows how to connect with energy. And Kathy's hugs are legendary. I mean, seriously, legendary. Seriously, like worldwide legendary. No, I mean, no,
I don't know how
seriously.
it happened.
Yeah.
After Denise Byron hugs, Kathy Price hugs are my favorite healing
Yeah.
modality.
Isn't he smart? He's smart.
Well,
Thank
there's one
you.
other one, but we can't discuss that here.
Looks alive and heaven offend. Good God.
Oh, what does that mean? That's very exciting. I can already tell what that means. But yes, there is
It won't be available at the retreat. Let's put it that way.
It's not an added extra then.
no, it's not an add-on bonus. Sorry. Shout out to myself. But anyway, coming back
Yes.
to our retreat and our workshop. There is, it's funny. I promise you all there will be laughs. I promise you all there will be laughs. And somebody asked me on Friday night, last Friday, we were out with some friends, and she was saying, it's really hard for me to go out and have fun right now because so many people are suffering, which I think is something that has plagued all of us our whole lives. It's not like, I think many of us here are very sensitive humans, and we have felt the suffering in the world. And many of us have Chiron in Pisces, not all of us, but many of us do, because of our age group. And we feel the suffering of the world. And so one of the things that I think is vital, particularly now, is to find time to gather, whether it's online like this or in person, to elevate our joy, to elevate and laughing. I mean, how you always hear that laughter is the best medicine. Well, yeah, you know why? Because it shifts your body state. You're shifting states. I mean, okay, so now I have to kind of circle back to the car ride. And
Sorry.
I have never laughed so hard in my life than being with, okay, I'm outing all the people that were in the car. Kathy was trying very hard to
Trying
keep
to
on the
drive. I
road.
didn't crush quite. It was a close thing.
David, Christine, and Jane Pike. So Christine Dixon, Jane Pike, David, Kathy, and me. Me, the sole earth sign amongst all those fire signs. Okay. I just have to say, David has put something in the chat that I am not going to repeat. I want everyone to try to
Oh,
figure out how
please, I want to hear you say it.
no way. No, no. The car ride for 25 minutes was everyone trying to say that in ways that were
But not rude.
incorrect.
At least R-rated.
I
Oh
would
my
say
God.
probably X-rated. In any case, it was just hilarious. And I felt so much, I mean, there was so much healing that comes just from that. So maybe we do a little of that. Okay, well, we'll miss you. Thank you for being here. Um, so anyway, I just, the laughter, the hugs, the gathering, the energy. Um,
I
well,
just want to say there, honey, if I could,
yeah,
there you go. Because you said about how when we step into love and we radiate the love out, that's what changed the world. That's what joy does as well. And I think, as you said, when we deny the joy because of other people's suffering, which, as you said, I totally understand,
yeah,
we do no good because we bring that energy down. It's we need to be the ones to put that energy up, and
yeah.
that's what changes the world.
Yeah, that's it. And I think, and this is the thing that I think maybe more than ever I'm committed to. This is why, and why Wales, again, a little alliteration there, but because the energy of the land, whether we're in Aberystwyth at the university or we're on the land for the retreat, we're in Wales, which has a really challenged history. I mean,
Mhm.
the energy of Wales has a lot underneath it, the history there, but the land is absolutely profoundly, and David said the word vibratory. It
Mhm.
has an energy. So, Kathy, I mean, I don't know if you could describe it, but how do you, I mean, you've been other places, obviously, in the world.
Mm.
How does being there, um, how does it feel?
To me, it is energy for me personally. I know, as I said, I need to be no other place,
Mhm.
but it's it's energizing.
Mhm.
It's the you walk out on the land and it's so hard to explain, but the insight I get as I walk on the tracks, it's like the information is there waiting for you. The
Mhm.
trees are there waiting for you,
Mhm.
and it imparts information gladly if
Mhm.
you're open to be there because I don't know of its history, but I look at the rock and
Mhm.
I think, because a lot of the time you'll see the rock strata literally vertical and you think the changes that's gone because it started like that and then it's gone like that. So what's the turbulence that's there? And, I think rocks can tell us a story. Their consciousness is much, much slower, because their span is so much bigger and things like that. But I just, it's like a well of experience, a well of energy, and it wants to give it to us. It's welcoming us into that.
And beautifully said. Beautifully said. I look forward to this time. And again,
Right.
being there with you, being there with everyone who's going to join us, we're creating energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that energy, and that's really, I mean, just like, and if you can't join us, you join us energetically.
Yeah,
there is something about knowing what time we're going to be deepening in, and I'll make sure that we announce that somehow so people know.
absolutely. Yeah.
But I think just spending time deepening, learning, connecting. There will be time on the retreat for time for yourself. There's some creative uh, I don't know if I want to call them projects, that feels like work, but creative,
Practices
yeah,
or yeah.
yeah, creative practices that you can engage in. There will be some private sessions during the retreat weekend. They're short, but they're there. And I want to encourage anyone who's not familiar with Kathy's work, go to her website, see what she has. There are other opportunities both to work with Kathy in person, on Zoom. Thank you for being here. And there are also other opportunities to be on your land and to work with you that way. So this is our way, and I'm really excited about it. And Kathy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time tonight,
Oh,
being with us. And I'm
you see,
very
it's my evening, and now I'm so energized that it's like, oh, what can I do?
I
What
hope
can
that's a
I
good
do?
thing. I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
I feel really blessed to be able to do this. I've the trip itself, I have now bookended it with beautiful people that I get to see, my brother for the first time in 2011, since
Um,
2011, I should say. And so I get to see him at the end of the trip, and then I get to see someone else who's here right now at the beginning of the trip. So I'm very excited about that. And maybe some of you in between, and some of you I know I'm seeing because I'm aware. Um, but that just being together and being able to bring energy together. And so the Friday, the reason we booked a room for that many people is we thought if you are at all able to come and join us
Yes.
today, we'd love to have you. And we've made it as accessible as possible. We know that some of you have horses. It's hard to get away for a whole weekend, so maybe a night or a day, depending on where you live. And I'm also aware it's a big country. It may not be as big as the country I live in, but it does take time to get places. So I just there are places to stay in Aberystwyth, and we can talk more about that if you need overnight accommodations. Kathy has compiled some lists, and we will continue to look at what's possible there. So, any other last words of wisdom from you?
Just to say thank you. Just to say I feel equally as blessed. The fact that you're coming to me here is just mind blowing, completely mind blowing. And I really do think it's going to be ultra special
Yeah.
because the combination of energy, the people that come, the land.
And I have to say this one last thing because I can't stop. Aberystwyth University really caught my attention when we drove by it. And the university itself, I don't know the history. I don't know when it was built. I don't know much about the university, but I know that there's something there too. And I don't
Mm.
think it's just because Kathy Price walked through the halls there, but maybe it's just because you were there and I feel it. I mean, that's possible. But I do feel that, and I will do a little research. One of the things that I'm very aware of is that no matter whether it's Thursday night, Friday, or the weekend, one of my intentions is to bring us in connection with the land that is underneath our feet at that
Mm.
moment. The fairies, the elves, the animals, the trees, whatever is there, I want us to feel that because that is for me the magic. The magic of being is what wellness is for me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's a beautiful way of putting it.
okay, we have to actually end. I mean, I don't know why. We could keep talking for the next couple of months.
Yeah, until you get here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the follow-up for registration for the retreat or just more information. It's really easy. Basically, you just let me know and I send you a form and then you sign it up and
Job's a good one.
that's it. We do have deadlines coming up. So that's one of the reasons why we're today talking about it because strangely enough, it's mid-February.
How did that happen?
I don't really know. And so April will be here sooner rather than later. And obviously we need time to coordinate our efforts. And I've already been looking at what to put in the gift bags. So excited. There's a Taurus in me. What can I say? Gift bags. There's got to be gift bags. Okay. Thank you. David,
Yay.
anything
Thank
you
you,
want to add?
everyone.
I know you're in the middle of something.
Can't wait to hug you, darling.
Back at you.
All
Back
right.
at you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to just stop the recording and then we'll all come back into our circle. So thank you, thank you, thank you.